Okay. Okay. So now we get to the point. Okay. So I was explaining. Now I don't have to explain about the biological, scientific, logistical reasons of why I don't agree with homosexual marriage. Not homosexual people. You know, everybody's a sinner. My only problem with that is that they think that it's not a sin. So they're just, they're, they're trying to say that, oh, the Bible has changed. God is an eternal God. His attitude didn't change. What he said was a sin back then is still a sin now. Okay, so now let me get to the point of what I'm saying. Is when we talk about the rape, the other Sodom. Okay, there was again these men, which again I explained in the last video that there's a higher offense when a man goes and rape another man. Even I ain't gonna go there. But at least if you rape a female, I'm saying it's the lesser of two evils. At least a female can have sex. I'm not okaying it or condoning because I've known many of rape female victims and I know what it does to them. I know what it does to them. So don't tell me I'm not being offensive to them. I know how it hurt them. And I know how they have also seen how some of them have have become healed, and have gone on to healthier lifestyles and have gotten all kind of joy and stuff like that in their life now. And I've seen it I've seen it. So my point is that there's another Sodom, okay, and there was a situation where, all right, the offense wasn't just, okay, don't treat your strangers. It was also an offense on don't do this to other men. So on the other Sodom, this guy had a wife, and it might have not been his wife. It might have been his concubine. I want to say this: she was an adulterous woman, but she left him and went to. She left him and she wanted to do other things. So she ran away, and so basically the man went after. And men, if your wife cheats on you, it is not grounds of divorce. It is American standard is grounds of divorce, but you should learn to forgive. Just like you ask them to forgive you. If they do, is something that, you got to work with it. I understand it's painful, and it's just like shatters a man, because men take it differently, But, if you need to decide, don't automatically default, oh, I don't forgive you, and our relationship is no good. Because half of the times you brought a lot of it on yourself. So look at that too, and concern yourself with that, and then you'll also be more forgiving for the times that you've needed forgiveness. So, but adultery in America, I mean, for the right, it is one way, but it was a law written in by Moses, but it's not actually, it's not a default reason. You can still forgive your wife. And in this case, this man went after his wife. And if somebody, your wife is acting out cheating, you should go after her. You should go after her and get your wife back. Okay? That's how it says to handle it. Not to automatically, quickly just write them off. Okay? So, it's hard to do, and it takes time. And it takes healing, just like anything. And trying to heal something is an everyday process, and you got to keep putting salt on it. So let me just say this one more thing about this. So in the situation, the woman ran off. They stayed at her father's house or something like that, and the father tried to get them to stay, right? And the guy tallied there, but he eventually left, and they left. It was dark. And they had to stay in the court, and it was dangerous to stay in the court because men would go around and they would just grow in groves. And like I said, women don't do that. Men have a different behavior and an onus and a level of things. Women don't go to war. Men do that. So we create, build, and tear down nations. That's why I have a problem with a woman instructing men over war. I understand the thing about, I'm not going to judge it, but I understand, peace negotiations and stuff like that. But I still believe it is a man's responsibility, to do this kind of thing. Okay. Men build and they war and they tear up nations and stuff like that. They build nations, they tear up nations. Okay. And sex builds nations, it builds bloodlines and all of that stuff. So what you're talking about with this homosexuality is foregoing all of that, because it don't build no nations. It don't create no bloodlines or nothing. Let me get to my point now. So in a sense, these men came in the sake of, there's a hierarchy when it comes to men and when it comes to women, and there's a different levels of which we operate and we do things. So we default in certain positions. Now, these men went and in Sodom, the original Sodom, these men not only thought they were raping men, but they were going to try to rape angels. So it's a hierarchy. It's a hierarchy. They stepped even beyond their own hierarchy. And they stepped, beyond their hierarchy where they had dominion. Like I said, Adam, things didn't change until it came to when Eve ate the apple, nothing changed. It was when Adam ate the apple, then their eyes was open, things changed. Okay? So the onus of the responsibility is on men. This and the thing of Sodom, they stepped above their ground. They even were trying to rape angels. God, sons of God, they were moving into heavenly places with their sin of homosexuality. Okay, so let me just establish that point. Now, with the situation with this woman, okay, all right, so then they started beef with God, and then God came down on them. You're gonna rape my angels. You're gonna rape my angels, I just happen to have this. Like I said, I was working with this, working with some logos with angels and stuff. So I'm thinking about that. So here, that was a direct conflict. Your sin moved into heavenly places, and that's the problem with sin. It says the devil comes up against the altar of God and says high things to the Most High, boastful words to the Most High. So that's my problem. When you're taking homosexuality and taking it into marriage, which is a sanctified, holy thing of God, then you're bringing sin onto God's throne and to his high. Now, you don't think it, you don't believe it, but you can't even deal with the logistical reasons and the logical reasons. So it's unfair and it's a lie on that level. So you bring in this unfair lie and all of this stuff with all kind of biological, logistical reason, and not to mention sin and the authority of man and all of this stuff that is backwards, flipped around, and putting it on the altar of God and telling God that it's not sin, it's right. And you step into sin unto heavenly places. Just like in Sodom and Gomorrah, when they thought they were even just dealing with man, but they had moved on to another level where it had entered into heavenly places. They were sinning against angels. Now we know that could happen. There's some other things in the Bible that God is the same when it comes to that. Sexual sins against heavenly things. I forgot what it's called. Those race of angels that had sex with women. At least it was with the women still. And God still wiped out the earth because of them. Because it's in there. They were very renowned men, and so sex with these entities, that are heavenly, above, the regular man, I believe that is an issue. And that, so in the other situation where they had raped the other men, so they put the woman out there, and the other Sodom, and with the tribe of Benjamin, where they had raped, these group of men had come and raped this woman all night, all day. And they still doing it today. But they raped this woman, and so they were trying to rape the man, and they said, brothers, the man of the house that took them in, he said, brothers, just don't do this one thing. I beg of you, don't do this thing. Don't rape this man. And then the man took his wife and put his wife out there, because at least she was a woman. And that man, after that situation, I can't imagine, you don't do that to another man. Okay. So basically the honor, the pride, and the responsibility of a man, you don't violate a man on that level. Okay. So I'm telling a story. Okay. I'm not judging anybody. I'm telling a story. Okay. And reading into it and just like that. So basically that's what happened. And so they put the woman out there, and so they killed the woman. They had raped her, and when a man found his wife raped and dead, he was so offended. He was so offended that he took his wife, his woman, and chopped her body up and sent it to every tribe and the other 12 tribes in Jerusalem from this tragedy that the tribe of Benjamin had done. And that was the area they were in. And so the other tribes got together, the tribes of Israel, and came down on Benjamin and went to war. At least it wasn't God that went to war on them. The other tribes took care of it. They're like, okay, you did this atrocity. You are out of hand. We need to put you in check before the Lord comes on us. Let's correct this mug out. Let's correct this brother here, because what you doing, you send the Lord down on all of us, as in Sodom. What you doing, you send the Lord down personally. So my point is, it was at least a lesser evil, because this situation with the women and a man raping a woman, at least it was biologically, scientifically correct. This was a whole nother realm. You weren't at least stepping on the principles of God and the principles, like, and bringing this stuff up into heavenly places like they had done in Sodom and tried to rape angels. And so that's the whole thing, is when you bring that sin on the altar of God, then God has to deal with it. So what I'm saying is don't do this one thing. It's just like you saying, don't take these, don't build in this one area. Same thing. Don't build this mosque in one area. The people have a right to do that. Now, they're technologically, but at least you know what I'm talking about now. Don't do this here. Don't do it in this one area. Don't bring this homosexuality and call it marriage. I don't care what the rest of you do or what the other stuff that y'all do, but don't bring it on the altar of God and calling it marriage. Marriage is an institution for that God established, a man and a woman. Now, you don't believe that, but you can't even straighten out the first stuff I said in the first video. So, you don't even talk to me on that level unless you can deal with that. So that's my point. Is like, just like how you say, oh, don't build a mosque here because this is hollow ground, this is holy now you know what I mean. Don't do this. Brothers, don't do this one thing, because you'll bring the Lord on it, and y'all should be seeing it already. Anyway, God bless you already. And I just, but again, God is great. God is good. God is merciful. But at least don't be boastful and prideful and say, oh, look what we could do. Look what we get away. Oh, the Lord God is asleep. There ain't no God. Therefore, you're a fool on April Fool's Day. That holiday is for the atheists that says, that there is no God. Don't get arrogant and before him to prove to you, because I can tell you there is. God bless you all. I love you all.